Intel Extreme Masters Chicago is brought to you in part by Intel, AT&T, Acer Predator, HyperX, Betway, and PaySafeCard.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for us to get to our last game of the day here for IEM Chicago on the B stream with myself, James Banks, and Tom Bismeyer himself, as we get to see LDLC go up against Renegades. Now, I think the most interesting point of this was just how close both teams' games were, and they went up against FaZe for LDLC, 16-14. Okay, it's still a FaZe that's going through some strange changes of different in-game leadership roles and all that kind of jazz. But then you've got a Renegades who have looked new and invigorated, and they almost took down MIBR. Not as close, 16-12, but still a good effort from them. So we're on for a real solid game here, this opening best of 3 between these two.
Yeah, that's the thing. This should realistically be quite a close battle, especially as it's teams that will just never play against each other.
No.
Like, because it's like maybe one of these teams will like sneak through eventually. Like LDLC is not a team that we really see at like decent tournaments ever.
For the longest time.
And the thing is, like, Renegades managed to sneak themselves through quite a few qualifiers because they go through like either Asia, if you're talking about like minors, or for example, in many of them they go through NA. So they have much more of a chance, like, because your teams like Liquid, Made in Brazil might be in the invite list or something like that. So it's much, well, it's basically impossible for these teams to meet like anywhere else. You just don't see it. So it's going to be really interesting. The thing is, as you said, like with the two teams they faced off against, there's definitely some question marks there. And again, you can sort of say like, they don't really play against them too often. So it's like, you're going to go in again with a sort of like complex that I think NRG had in the last best of 3, where it's like, easy. And it's a best of 1, anything can happen. So I'm really interested to see how this match will actually go down. I'm leaning the way of Renegades, but that's mainly because I've seen more of them recently. And I, like, considering they were such a new team, I've been impressed with the like new boys on the block. I think Gratisfaction has been fantastic with that AWP. And I think the longer this team is together, obviously Azza also was new to the IGL role when he like started off at Star Series. They managed to get through the groups, which, considering the team, I spoke to their manager and he literally just went, yeah, we don't really have anything for this. We're just giving it a go. That was where Kassad was also announced. That's one question mark, though.
Yeah.
But no, he's not here. That was he didn't get his visa in time for Chicago. So
good old USA.
That's sort of a troublesome thing, especially because the way that the dynamic was working was he was working really close with Azza to make sure all of the strategy was there. Now, obviously, he will have left his mark on the team, but it's still fairly early days, and I think not having him behind them is definitely going to be a hindrance.
Now, so you were saying like yourself favored a bit more onto this Renegade side because of what you've seen from him. Well, I've only seen an online LDLC, but they have been putting up a few more impressive results. I would say that, and I did not expect myself to be saying it either, Alex, he has come into his own. He's been on part of this LDLC. Yeah, I know, our British brother. Yeah. And for once, I'm not just harping on about him because he is British. I mean, you just look back at the past games, he's had a lot of success. He's been looking strong, and the vetoes are flying on your screens thick and fast. Inferno banned, Nuke banned. Okay, we expect that. We know Renegades hate a bit of Nuke. Overpass pick, but Renegades aren't too shabby on Overpass. So I'm hoping LDLCs have something seriously planned out for that one. And then Decider, we get Mirage, which makes sense. So I feel like we'll go to a Decider. I'm a question mark around the Overpass pick, but I know on that Mirage game, that is going to be absolute fire.
This is really interesting because we've done 2 best of 3s and we have got completely different maps. The only one that was banned both times is Nuke.
Never happens like that either.
No, you nearly always get a crossover. So it's actually quite nice to get 6 different maps if it obviously goes to 3, which I think it will.
It's a glorious day.
I like it. And also they removed Nuke, which is the one I hate the most to cast. So
okay.
To cast. I don't mind. I like playing it. I actually quite enjoy it, but casting it is like, or especially I imagine our observer is like praising Jesus at this point because that is the worst map to observe.
That would kill him off. And the thing is, the only...
Finish him.
Finish him. He's just game over right now. And the only thing is, right, it was 16-14 LDLC versus FaZe on Mirage. And FaZe are a strong team on Mirage. So I think if it does go to a third, I'm still sticking with my guns on LDLC. My question mark is just around this Overpass map, because I'm sure LDLC prepared, and it's definitely a map they play, but I mean, I've seen recently LAN performance Renegade on Overpass, and that looks suitable, that looks strong. But we're about to head into the game. It's about to get underway. We're starting on Overpass, and we've got Renegades and LDLC, and almost it feels like I'm going back in time again, because LDLC is as old school as it gets. And give it up as well to Devry Duvek and Amanek. I met these guys back when they were on Misfits back at the Pro Leagues 2 seasons ago, I think it was. And these guys, not only are they funny, but they are 2 talented individuals. But this talented individual on your screen is JKS right now. Domin heads left, right, and center. He's entered in with the triple kill. Can he get any more for his hard work? Tapping away against Alex, the Brit, trying to bounce back. Brits and Aussies, we go together.
Oh, this is getting a little bit dicey. If I learned anything today, is that pistols aren't over until they're over. And this is swinging right back. Alex with an opportunity, but unfortunately the bullets just weren't there, and it's left on to Amanek. Wow, he looks very serious in his picture, and wow, it's a pretty serious scenario. Do they expect him to have rotated? It doesn't look like it. Gratisfaction in the open. They may not expect the second player to just be around that corner, and I imagine he's going to try and maybe bait this one back a little bit. It's a long rotation. Especially when you're shift walking.
Yeah, this is... The thing is, when do Renegades split up, or do they just hold this as the 2? The best situation for the CTs is just stay as your 2. If you get the wrong side, it's not that big a deal. And yes, Amanek should walk away with the plant here. God, that face is so angry in that picture. He literally looks like he's going to kill you. Whoever was taking that photo must have felt seriously intimidated. But our Renegade's going to be intimidated once this bomb goes down. Now they start to make their way over. They're aware of how slow this has been going. Amanek can put himself in a nice position as Liaz and Gratisfaction, the 2 new players to Renegades, the chance to step up. Oh, Amanek, that got awkward. Damage done, but you can't find the kill. And oh no, this is not good for Renegades now. Gratisfaction goes the long way round, and it means that Liaz falls, and he's going to stick the plant. Noise being made. Amanek trying to bait him off it, and the Gratisfaction lands the headshot. He gets it done in a round that looked like he would never have a chance of winning just then when it got to the 1v1.
Yeah, a messy, messy pistol round. And I think we both at that point believed that it was going to be the turnaround. Just bear in mind, JKS gets 3 kills right at the beginning of that one. So, yeah, 1-0 in favor of the Renegades. I do quite like the fact that Gratisfaction is almost like the alter ego there, because he looks so sort of calm with his nice glasses on. It's like
good triumphs over evil, Tom.
Yeah. It's a beautiful storyline. We've got the Betway odds, of course, and well, we've got a sort of split desk. It's a fairly split down the middle match with Renegades slightly in the favor, and well, the boys well supported. But already it looks like we're going to see a bit more of a purchase in here as Amanek is going to pry up the AK-47. It looks like he's going to try and be that raid boss, that solo hero, the simple, as it's known by many. We are just going to be looking at the CT side, still with a big advantage, but this is going to be about damage. They'll still come in with 4 players actually purchasing into the next round for LDLC, and Tuanu started off magnificently. He's already taken down Gratisfaction, made things very costly already. And the fact is, if they're buying into the next round, even if they drop 2 or 3 players here, you think, okay, it's quite a heavy investment, really, James. But the fact is, they will still have a buy anyway.
Already, though, with a bit of a lead to work off of, can LDLC get this done? Azza pushing around, he's going to find himself behind some players. Will the timing work out for him, though? Spots 1, sees 2, he's got all the information to play with here. No one's even aware, no one's looking. He gets the first, looks in for the second, starts spraying away. Azza getting it done. Logan's fallen to Jacob as well. Amanek finally gets involved, starts to bounce back a bit here, but Azza has already done the damage. He's already caused the pain.
Even still, though, as said, this round is all about damage for LDLC. The victory, slim, but the chances to make things costly for the Renegade side is actually fairly high. Again, just 1 more kill, and this is more than a worthwhile purchase of this AK-47. Again, Amanek is still standing. Now, they're not going to know that he actually has armor in this situation, and there's a low player in the form of Jacob. Fact is, though, this is a round that the CTs have to win, and that late smoke is just an absolute pain. They've only got 10 seconds left to actually make their way onto the site. Even Pop Flash is slowing them down further. That's the bomb over towards Monster. They may not even have time here. It has to be a run straight onto the site, and I think he's just about got it, but he has to stick it. Jacob, he needs to hit it, and eventually he will.
Wow. That was too close for comfort. LDLC in a round that almost should have been theirs. Jacob just holding on, literally ducking so he didn't want to get one tapped out of the situation, and the bomb unable to get planted.
In terms of damage, that is literally the perfect scenario. So Aminek keeps his AK and armor. They kill 4 players. The 1 player alive has a FAMAS. Everybody else on the team, obviously excluding Aminek, was able to buy, but he saves a weapon.
Yep.
So they come in with a great buy into this round. Devaduvek is just going to go for a MAC-10 with some extra utility, but in this scenario, it's actually favoring the T's, if anything.
Well, Alex is looking to try bust his way into this. He sees the utility start flying past him. They line up for him. Azza's gone down as well, so it's an entry of 2 for Alex as the British Frenchman starts to make it work. Jacob's gone down as well, and this is just destruction. LDLC. They're not messing about going into this round. It's all on Liaz now, and there's not much hope for him here, really. Let's be honest. This is a troublesome position to ever find yourself in.
This is not impossible. Like, even if they just push into the site 1v1, you'd have to expect eventually he'd lose one of these duels, and the fact is I don't think he's going to win any of them. It will be LDLC right back on the board, and this is where you see the value of the damage, the value of that 1 AK that they brought in round number 3. They made things, oh sorry, round number 2, they made things incredibly costly for this Renegade side, and now they can really invest into his pistols. They're going to try and at least do some damage here themselves. We may see Gratisfaction actually save a bit of extra money to try and get that AWP as soon as possible. But ultimately, LDLC have set themselves up pretty much as best they can, considering they lost the pistol.
Yeah, it wasn't to be expected at all either. LDLC, 2 rounds really that could have gone their way, right? That Renegades managed to clutch out and grab and have for their own. But this is where LDLC can start to feel confident. They don't want to make too many mistakes here. They're not going to just start kind of rushing around. They're not going to push their way into the pistols because they don't know what waits for them on the other end of it all. Logan giving some room to work here. But Jacob's got a deagle and he's lurking in the restroom.
He's playing this one very slow and trying to clear out positions. It could actually work into the favor of the CT side slightly, just because they're playing so heavy over towards this A site that they may be able to just gain some individual duels, ones that won't necessarily be expected. That should be ruined by this push from Twanu and Aminek, just making it into B. There's absolutely no one there, and the second they realize this, it should be all over. The only thing will be if the CT side realize this themselves and actually go for the rotation. It does look like they're edging their way back in towards the site. The problem is it should really be too little too late, as the bomb is now going to cross in towards B. Liaz, up from above, hasn't been spotted. He does so much damage, but doesn't manage to kill. Gratisfaction does a better job of it, but still meets the same fate as the FAMAS. Devo will do enough. Az has managed to find himself an AK, and although he's IGO, he's definitely one of the best fraggers for this side, able to put up the numbers, and JKS not spotting his opponent. Azza will, and has come back into the 1v1 once again. It's a very close scenario, and he's going to hit the headshot as well. 3 kills for the in-game leader. A 3rd round on the board for Renegades, and that was only a half buy.
Renegades getting a 3rd on the board here. I think for LDLC, they're kicking themselves a little bit after that one, but a solid effort from Azza, doing it once again. Like you said, not just an in-game leader, this man has been a star key player for Renegades for the longest time now. And now I look to LDLC. Okay, we get a good full buy in here. Got the AWP in play as well, Gratisfaction on his. So this is, I think this is probably the best buy from both sides, right, that we get to see now go head to head. The only downside is Liaz up on the SMG, but he can still put it to work at close quarters. Gratisfaction wanting to go out here nice and fast. Gets blinded, takes a pot shot, but can't make anything connect. This is an LDLC as well, right, that took Astralis to overtime on this map. Astralis, one of the best teams in the world on Overpass. But the reason why I said at the beginning that I questioned LDLC's pick on Overpass, because at times they lose to teams that you would never expect them to lose to. So it's about how consistent can they be on it. And this now in a best of three where you're potentially being eliminated, I need to see them deliver the same performance they did against Astralis, if not better.
Well, definitely need to save themselves here. Obviously an opportunity, as said, that definitely not an easy one. Those EU qualifiers is very, very easy to drop a map along the way, and that's pretty much it, done and dusted. It's a tough task making it all the way through. That's pretty much why you see a different team nigh on every single time coming in from EU.
Yeah, qualifying in EU is no joke. That's what I do like about the IEM series, though, is that we get so many of the, like, that gets to the best of threes quicker, even in the qualifiers.
It's going to be the opener, but so much damage done onto Devo, and well, the TT side have got a pretty good read here as they're actually being popped in to try and have a look. Isn't going to spot anything, but he hits the headshot and sprays a second as well. Gratisfaction with the no-scope completely misses. However, Liaz has at least brought it into the 1 versus 1. JKS is there with the rifle up against that AWP, and he'll win it as well. It's another close round. I'm pretty sure that's 3 rounds in a row now for the side of Renegades where they've only had 1 player surviving.
Yeah, starts to get costly on that CT side for him. No bomb plant, though, this time around for LDLC. And I would at least say on LDLC then, they are so lucky Gratisfaction whiffed that shot, because otherwise it would have been 3 alive, would have been a very convincing round, because he was playing peekaboo with an AWP, close range like that, and it just got a little bit too awkward there for him.
But the other thing as well is when you're in that spot, he almost has to face the wall half the time, so he's just not stuck in the sky.
Stuck out.
Bit of a weird one,
Ooh. Gratisfaction lands 1. JKM only able to get 1 himself, though, as they start to push him around in connector a bit. Alex has grabbed himself a FAMAS to work with. Does have the smoke to play with as well, so maybe there's a setup he can try and make work here. Liaz got to be cautious now at Monster. Spraying through the SMG. Not able to connect any shots just yet. Drops the... Okay, he's definitely aware that Alex could be close by. Good thought process behind Liaz here.
This round for the T's. Bomb plant would definitely be useful for them. They only have a 2,400 loss bonus coming in the next round, which will mean there will definitely be some holes. The AWP unlikely to grace hands of Twanu. Well, unless he can hit a few tasty deeks and maybe get that bomb plant for his team. Now, they are getting ever closer. The problem is there's still multiple players. In fact, a third even rotating in. Gratisfaction will now drop that bomb, and he's still looking to just take the fights versus Twanu, who will get absolutely nothing done. Finally, we see a cleaner round from Renegades as their finances will begin to build. But at the same time, LDLC now have a purchase of their own.
Well, LDLC have had a few of these purchases now. It's been right to the wire, but they've not been able to close it out. We said this game was expected to be close. The scoreline may not say that right now, but if you actually watched the rounds, if you were here from the beginning, you would have seen how close it was. All AKs this time around for LDLC, though. And to be fair, like, they've played it quite slow. I'm not against just a real fast play here. Try and catch Renegades off guard. The problem LDLC had here is that you can't even really prep for Renegades too much at the moment because they just haven't played that many maps.
Yeah, this is a... Well, I believe last time when I was at Pro League with you, they were doing very, very well in the sort of NA region.
Yeah, they qualified. Yeah, the top. I think they came 3rd. Yeah, 3rd behind Ghost and MIBR. So yeah, Renegades have looked good.
Well, both these teams in the online stages doing well, but the question is who's going to bring it best online. Again, these rounds from LDLC, as you said, they have been very slow, sort of methodically clearing positions, maybe expecting more aggression from Renegades, and The thing is, other than, I think, early on, we saw a bit of a peek out from Gratisfaction, they've been very passive. So it means that in these sort of early round scenarios, we just get a bit of a stalemate. Just patient play. But most of the time, that will play into the Renegades' hands.
Yeah.
Because there's no picks going the way of LDLC. The utility's still being kept. Like, if you notice, they've still got an Incendiary with 30 seconds left, 2 in fact, and a smoke. I think LDLC need to start pressing them a little bit earlier. Try and get some of the utility out of their hands at least. And the fact is now, they even have a pick alongside it. They still have another Incendiary with 20 seconds left on the clock. And if that goes in, they're absolutely screwed. Liaz has just dropped the bomb over towards Monster, and they can't just keep pushing in this late. Something needs to change for LDLC. And I think the biggest problem they've had over the last few rounds is, we were mentioning, oh, it came down to 1v1. It was very, very close. They just lost a round. Or, for example, when it was with Jake and he had 4 HP. So in their minds, they're going, you know what? It's not going badly. We're just not winning the clutches. And that means they're not going to change anything. And while now I think that it's been a few more dominant rounds from Renegades, they've decided, okay, now we need a moment.
And that last round was the most dominant by far. Liaz was working perfectly at Monster there, working with his teammate, just shutting down these small little pushes that came in, started off with that kill against Alex. This is nice to see from Renegades. And LDLC now, this is where you change things up. I want to see that change of pace because what you've been doing hasn't been working. You had a few close rounds, but over the last few, like you said, Thomas, it's become a little bit more one-sided in favor of Renegades. So come on, LDLC, switch it up. Bring us something that will catch Renegades off guard. Go head-to-head against them. Bring the firepower in. Find out what you think is their weak spots. And they've had the easiest time, right, getting into the B side.
I think the best way to describe a bad scenario for the T side is when you look at the CT side and they've got 4 AKs and an AWP.
Yeah, that's where a lot of players have been alive for a long time. Oh, we don't see that all too often at all. No. That's where Renegades can go, hey, look, we don't even have to spend our own money anymore.
Yeah, it's like, if we can have your buy, then something's going wrong. So LDLC definitely looking for a bit of a change. This round is not the one where we expect too much. Logan, again, is going to go for that sort of lone AK-47. Obviously, in terms of money in the next round, they do get the maximum loss bonus. So he would still be able to afford an AK without head armor, or if they get a bomb plant, he can afford whatever he wants. In fact, 1 kill is enough, and there you go. So he can have a purchase. This is already valuable for them, because as we were mentioning, the CT side are now starting to build money, and that's not what you want. Like in the closer rounds where they're having to sort of question a few things, maybe take some riskier purchases, that's where you can go, okay, fine, maybe investing here, but they need to be doing damage. They can't allow them to build up more cash.
Well, this is the time for LDLC to try and do it. You've got that 1 kill already. They weren't able to grab the weapon, which is a bit of a pain, but they can now bust this B site with JKS defending. Sprays out the first few shots, looking to tap away. Deviduvek was already low, but JKS is going to go in for some more. Azza's there to back him up as well. Bomb is going to be planted while Logan is chiming in. He's putting up the defense of his life. Amanek trying to finish off Liaz. Nice use of the nades. A lot of damage done there to Amanek. Logan's already low despite having done this triple. His teammates now need to bring their A game, but no weapons in their hands. Gratisfaction lands the Deeg. And this is the real problem here. No weaponry on them remaining players. Only Logan, who's already walked away with a triple. Liaz well aware of his position. Easy for him to finish off. And this is just some solid, smart play from Renegades, right? Nothing flashy. We're not seeing one player just go absolutely insane. This is them playing Overpass effectively.
Yeah, that was a 3v2 and they didn't take a point of damage. They just cleared every single angle, used their utility well, even though it was fairly limited. What I will say, though, again, it's one of those rounds where you talk about an individual AK being purchased in order to do damage. They get a bomb plant and get 3 kills. The problem is, LDLC, this damage is wonderful if you then get the break. If you don't ever break their economy, they're still just going to run away with the rounds. The fact is, we've had a lot of close rounds. It makes no difference when there's 7 on the board for Renegades and only 1 for LDLC. Now, Jacob's aggression, punished. Again, we see the opener go the way of LDLC. The fact is there going to be a return? Now, Gratisfaction, again, is in another aggressive position, already manages to pick onto 1, and that's a second back. He's going for more. He's not even done. He's dropped the bomb. There's players waiting around the corner. He will be punished for that push. Maybe a little bit too much on the cards, but his teammates now looking to try and do the same. Azza quickly turns it back into a 3v2, and Renegades are getting away with murder at the moment.
Yeah, Renegades are feeling it. They're well aware of kind of what LDLC are trying to do, right? Gratisfaction was not scared of going aggressive, even though he was on his own. Walks away with 2 kills. Okay, he goes down afterwards, and potentially LDLC still walk away around here, but it's just the fact that LDLC are almost too predictable at this stage, and JKS is in such a good spot here. He's going to hear their footsteps as he's creeping up. Alex goes down, that's the bomb. Now only Amanek remains, and JKS, clutch mode. He comes up, top trumps, grabs himself the AWP as well. Not that they needed the money, but it's always a nice bit to save onto it, and we're still looking very strong here as Renegades 8-1, and LDLC just can't find the answer.
Is it possible to look at how many rounds Renegades have survived with 1 player?
Make it happen, please, Bastion. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
That's insane.
That's actually ridiculous.
Clutch mode. It's no longer sicko mode by Travis Scott. It's going to be clutch mode. It's probably another one that went over your head.
Oh, I know. I got that one. It was great.
Definitely didn't. Nice attempt at covering that one up. Chat will certainly know. I believe in Twitch chat. They're relevant, Tom.
Great. I'm glad. Here we go, though. Back to pistols. They've got the one solitary AK strat has been doing so much damage for LDLC, but they're still not winning any rounds. Like, the money still being kept honest for Renegades. JKS and Gratisfaction, the ones with the money in the bank. But the fact is they've already won the half, and LDLC still have 1 round on the board. So if they can finally keep a round or 2 clean again, it makes absolutely no difference in the grand scale of things. They may have 1 player alive 5 times. They're not going to care if they win themselves the map, especially on their opponent's choice. Gratisfaction has been good with this AWP so far, but he is going to be isolated. Push coming in and slightly misses the timing there. And now Alex has been able to position over into the spot, but Gratisfaction quickly clears it with no problems at all. Wow, they're struggling this time. They've been excellent with this 1 AK so far. Amanek still has the chance to do some damage, but this is the moment where Renegades finally get a clean round, and once again, that money is building up.
Do you know what's funny about this, right? Some of our biggest criticism of Gratisfaction on the desk was that at times he plays like a little bit too safe on the AWP. So just holds the angle, plays the position, maybe walks away with 1, 2 frags potentially, but he didn't have massive amounts of impact. This game, he has been on point and key. This is the Gratisfaction I know and love from the past, right? When I was commentating his games before he got onto Renegades. This is what we want to see.
Are you being a hipster right now? Like, I knew him before he was famous.
Well, no, because he was famous back then to me. I loved him then just as much.
It's like, oh, I listened to Ed Sheeran before he went big. Is that what you're doing?
I didn't listen to Ed Sheeran, but
it was.
I'm aware. I'm just letting you float this out.
I don't believe you. I imagine that you'd sit there listening like to A-Team or something like that, just in your bedroom.
Yeah, mate, 70s disco.
Oh, God. Here we go. Push into the site. Azza, the flashbang, absolutely perfect. Liaz will. 2 quick headshots. He died so fast and didn't even expect him to get a kill. But there's 2 in there for him. Jacob, well placed, gets Alex low. Gratisfaction's actually going to fall. It's onto Jacob. He hasn't had the best of games so far, but it's the clutch. And not this time. Alex will put him down. Finally a round onto the board. It's 9-2, and the CT's money just about there to purchase. But it really does show how close these rounds have been. When you've got 9 rounds on the board, they had 7 in a row, and they're just about scraping the buy through.
He also nearly clutched that. The fact that he thought he finished off the AWP and then went straight to Alex and then was like, oh no, this is bad. This didn't happen because he was feeling it, right? He knew he did that early damage to Alex, who he was aware of his position where he's going to push around, and he thought he had that in the bag. Good work from LDLC, but now we need to see some rounds chained together because they cannot be hit by that hard reset now. Yeah.
The reset looming.
But the money now is not that great for Renegades. They have paid the price over time, right? Matey boy with the AWP got himself a first frag to go with.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like, even still though, like we talk about, okay, now they're going to pay the price. It's at a point, though, where they've already got 9 rounds on the CT side.
Yeah.
They're not really worried. And the fact is, they may not even pay the price. If they win this round, they're still plain sailing. And the fact is, it will be LDLC on a reset as well. It's not like they're safe from damage in this sort of scenario. And the funny thing is, they've been finding opening picks a lot of the time. It just seems like Gratisfaction, as you said, with his impact, he's been so good at just finding trades.
Yeah. Liaz now chiming in as well. The 2 new Renegades players, AWPs in hand, looking to shut down LDLC before they even get a chance to build some sort of a comeback here. Not going for the shot, doesn't want to try and take the fast flick. It's going to back away as well, but it seems to me at least that LDLC, they're not even fully confident on what they want to do with this round. You're a man down, you're all over the place, and time's running out.
They got 20 seconds, and they looked like they wanted to go for a rotation back towards the A site. Like, it seemed like Twanu was backing away. This is, again, a problem. They have to try and just rush things here, and there's still utility. This is it. Renegades are so confident at this point. They're just holding all their nades. They don't even really need them. They shut them down without any trouble at all, and what was looking like a final chance for LDLC to get on the board now goes right back to them being in trouble once again. This is definitely not the team we saw when they played against Astralis.
No, and this is the thing, right? Renegades now, they kept so many players alive that we spoke about, okay, they've got a little bit of shaky money, but didn't affect them. They're now looking pretty hot. This is 10-2 currently. Another pause has come in, and it's not like LDLC can't frag. We said it. They're on that, like, it's just the 1vx situations they can't win. They've not been any sort of clutch mode come out from LDLC. This could be a game where we're like 7-7, 8-7, that kind of scoreline.
Yeah, easily.
And instead, we're at 10-2, where Renegades are like... And by the way, this is a Renegades that with this current lineup, we've not seen them play Overpass yet. So this is, okay, you can be prepared for it. And I know, God, you've played hundreds of games on Overpass, right? But still, it's not like a map that they would actively pick into, which again was why I was so questionable in LDLC. You've got no information. You don't know... Obviously, you've had good games in the past on it, but you've also had some really shaky games on it. It's a raw deal here, and this is where Renegades, if they can keep this up, it's not going to be a weird flex on OK, it's just going to be a straight flex.
Yeah, well, to be exact, they played it once a month ago versus Big, and they lost 16-6. So, yeah, it's again, not something that's really into their map. I wonder if that sort of played into the choice from LDLC, if they brought this one, and obviously it is their best map as well, so I guess it's not really that much of a choice. But realistically, this is fantastic from Renegades, and LDLC are yet to rise to the occasion. The buy they've gone from here is tragic. You can understand it because obviously they got no loss bonus behind them, so they're just trying to break back while they can. They are going to go for what seems like a faster play, and they have baited out a lot of the utility this time. Still, though, they don't have the weaponry. They're in a massive disadvantage here, and while you can see it with the way the frags are going, however, a couple coming back, at least an opportunity for them here. However, Logan, all alone.
Is there anyone on Renegades that doesn't want to warp? Like... Gratisfaction, Liaz, Az has now chimed in. We were like, yep, trigger happy on the snipers. Logan's saying, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I may as well try and get a plant somewhere. But already the rotations come over. Az is going to make his way to the A site. Everything is in full defense. And LDLC, they're looking down the barrel of a very, very scary gun. Because that gun is the Renegades, and they've been firing off on all cylinders, Tom.
Yeah, this is pretty much... Again, another like impossible scenario. He's all a Logan at the moment. And
I'll let you have that one. I'm saying nothing.
I think that in itself is
that was the point.
Bad enough. But
a Logan. A Logan.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
But either way, hasn't actually spotted him jumping just yet, so he's dead. That one's nice and easy, and that's actually an AWP into his hands.
Do you just plant and then save? Just run.
The thing is, he's actually got a chance to win, especially with the plant that he's gone for. If he can somehow find the pick onto the man coming in on the flank, that's going to be the biggest thing. It just whether or not he actually expects him to be this close, because he was very quick on the rotation. Although Jacob has actually slowed down quite a bit. If he can find Gratisfaction, he'd probably be aware that there's a chance of him being behind, but he is running right into the clutches, and actually, Jacob doesn't connect. He gets him through, I guess that was the corner of the toilets. But again, it comes way too close for comfort. These 4 spies from LDLC, they've been so close. And well, there you go. Again, what's it, six now?
Yep.
That's the thing. If you change 6 1v1s in any game, obviously, like, you've got to give props to Renegades for having the stones to win that many 1v1s. But at the same time, if you're LDLC, you're just, when you look back at this later in the day, you go, yeah, we lost 6 1v1s. Like,
welcome to the
we
clutch.
didn't even really do anything bad. That's the thing. You're not actually doing anything wrong in those scenarios a lot of the time. It's like, if you lose that many 1v1s, you just got to go, well, yeah, it just didn't go our way. And the fact is as well, you got to also include 2 of the rounds that LDLC won, they also only had 1 player. Oh, no, wait, that one, never mind. Only 1 of them.
These teams, though, right, they are been in these kind of very, like, it's not scrappy in how it's played, but it's like the scrappy ones are in the sites, they're taking these fights, right? It's all over the place. There's action across the board. And Renegades, at the moment, they are delivering when needed. This is, if you're LDLC, it's going to have to be the comeback of a century. And Devaduvek, just as we go to him, sadly, doesn't land that smoke.
Yeah, I wonder if this point there's a level of, like, tilt coming in. I feel like because if it's this close in a lot of the rounds, I feel like it would, like, hit you after a while. Just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I've got no problem, right, with losing a game 16-2, 16-4 if we're just playing like bots. If you're playing well and it's this close and you still can't get it done, that's when you're like, oh come on, I really need to see this go through. Gratisfaction is not going to move away yet. His position is going to be known. He starts to move back a little bit. He's going to reposition himself, and rightly so. This man has been landing the shots across the board. JKS coming round just at the right time, as Amanek's going to be on the other side of that smoke. It's all going to come down to timing. Amanek made all the way up and then went, maybe not. Not what I want to do right now. And that's another thing, right? This is like the 2nd or 3rd round we've seen where LDLC are almost second-guessing themselves. There's not this confident, like, oh, yes, we're doing this. This is how it's going to work out.
Yeah, the rotation coming in from LDLC looks like it's going around to be. Amanek is with the bomb. I almost wonder if they're trying to fake this. And that I feel like you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel if you're going to have a 1-man fake with your man who has a Mach 10 pushing into the A site. And the fact is, they are going to pull rotations. They've done it quite successfully. Gratisfaction is going to have absolutely no idea. Logan has to do some real damage here. Now, Amanek gets the freebie. Logan is actually just taking the B site. But the fact is, he's heard the bomb. If he can get this kill, he actually has a chance to defuse it. The fact is, Amanek is gone. He's run away. But actually, it's one of those things. He's baited him. He's baited him back in. Nice shot from Gratisfaction. Now, he should know that the last man was on the other side of the map. Is he just going to stick this? I don't think there's anything that Logan can do. No. He's running around the corner. It doesn't matter. Gratisfaction wants to kill as well. And, hey, look how many players they have alive, James.
1v1. 1v1. And I'm clapping here because Gratisfaction, not only has he delivered just in what he's supposed to do in this map, but he's just clutched out that round as well. This is multiple players from Renegades all doing so well.
That's so weird. More than 50% of their rounds are with 1 player alive.
I can't remember a game I've actually commentated where I've had that many 1v1s.
There's no way.
It's not possible.
This must be, I don't know. This must be some sort of record, like 7 rounds with 1 player alive.
Someone check on us, for us, and hit us up on Twitter, Banksy Sports and Tom Biz, and let us know if there's been a game with more 1v1s.
I want to know, and I want to probably go watch that. Sounds fantastic.
But that's what it is, right? Despite the scoreline, this is exciting Counter-Strike. Oh, God. You talk about tilt. That's when you know something's going wrong, when you're not even looking at the radar, you're just shooting your own teammate because you're hearing noise. Alex trying to find his way, and he's got some backup with Gratisfaction. He's just landing shots all over the place here. Close range, and he doesn't care. Oh! And Alex is like, I got the edge of the smoke. I can make this work. Nope, Gratisfaction's there. And Gratisfaction, he's not stopping yet. Gonna start tagging up the walls, trying to find some extra damage to be played in there. As LDLC will try and push their way into this A site. Gratisfaction goes to reposition a little bit, but again, it's all a little bit disjointed. 5v3 and LDLC have got to try and make this work.
Well, it isn't looking likely. We've seen plenty of rounds only going one way, but that is a flawless one, a rare sight in this match. And, well, we're going to see if LDLC can pull anything back, because this is... Well, a horrible situation either way. We're going to have a short break and, well, a pistol round could end it.
Or a 1v1. (13-2), a monstrous scoreline for the Aussies, the New Zealander, and the Norwegian. Going up against LDLC, who, well, we've seen many 1v1s. Maybe we'll see a few more, but there's not many rounds to go if Renegades keep up their form.
Yeah, well, this is a pretty much perfect scenario of win the pistol, win the game. Like, if you convert those rounds, you normally get yourselves 3, and that's all they need. So, yeah, it's a pretty horrible situation right now for LDLC in a game that, well, normally when you see a map this dominant, you don't say the scoreline doesn't reflect it, but it definitely doesn't in this scenario. Like, LDLC could have turned that first half at any point. They were just never really able to get in, and well, props still have to go to Renegades for just being so clutch in this map. Either way, well, LDLC are the ones that need to be clutch in this scenario at the moment, as they are clutching as straws. 2 rounds currently on the board to their opponent's 13. T's making their way around towards the toilets. There are multiple players who are ready for the CT side, looking to try and hold on to this A site, and they do have the advantage in the pistols they own. Now, Gratisfaction may be about to be caught. Throws out the flashbang, doesn't do anything, but he's got support as well. Jacob looking to push in. He'll lose his life to Amanek, and Twanu on the side itself looking to try and hold on, but Gratisfaction's doing the work with that P250. We've already seen one ace with it today. He's going to try and add another. But Alex so hot on the flank, doing damage. Again, these rounds coming so close. It's left onto Gratisfaction, but LDLC, their lifeline is in.
Yeah, the muster-in round coming in for LDLC. Gratisfaction in there. You saw him. He wanted to try escape towards bank and avoid shots from one direction while potentially picking up a kill, but it wasn't meant to be.
One Direction, was that another musical reference?
That actually wasn't this time.
I know, I know.
I'm impressed you know a One Direction song though, Tom. This makes sense why you didn't know the tunes I was referencing.
To be honest, that is what makes you beautiful. That's a One Direction song.
Oh, why do you know so many One Direction songs? What is wrong with you?
I named 1.
2?
No, 1. The other was their name.
Oh, okay. Still. is how little I know about One Direction.
What, that they're called One Direction?
Yeah, I just didn't even think about them. They're irrelevant. Are they even together anymore?
I don't know.
You're the biggest fan. You should know.
Oh, yeah. I've actually got it tattooed on my chest.
Maybe you should unbutton your shirt like me and start showing off a bit more. Our observer, Bastian, just told us that they are no longer together because he has a younger sister. He made that very clear because he didn't want to be seen that he is the one that knows.
That's blatantly a lie. He doesn't have a sister. It's just he just dresses up.
He does have a sister, and I've heard quite good things about him.
Well, a comfortable clean-up for LDLC. And also for Banks, who is probably done after this one, after that comment. But either way, 13-4. The Renegades are now going to be purchasing up with the AKs in hand. The CTs don't have a huge amount of money backing them at the moment. They've gone straight in, making sure they have all those rifles, full utility as well, not messing about with any SMGs. We saw that from MVP in the previous. It definitely didn't work out for them in a long fight back, but this is a much faster setup coming in from Renegades, not taking a leaf out of the LDLC book. They're running right into this B site as a group and as a, well, he's there to start things off. Alex is able to trade. It's a bit of a cluster at the moment. All these players just wrapping around each other, and the Brit has managed to hide in the smoke. So is Azza, though. It won't matter. Only a double at least, doing some damage, making things a bit more costly. But still, LDLC, they begin the long road back.
Alex actually did really well in that position because the smoke went down. He's literally on top of Azza, plays off the edge of it, and no one's looking towards him because they know where Azza's position is. So fair play LDLC being able to hold on to that. Renegades wanted for the just do or die rush, but didn't work out this time around, and Renegades forced back onto these pistols. Got some armor in play as well. Game plan to be executed now, and this is where I want to see a little bit more, because that's one thing we didn't really get from LDLC, right? Their pistol rounds didn't have the strength behind it. Renegades, though, they've invested a little bit more. Maybe they can try and get their way into either potentially pick up a round, get that bomb down, try and work things a little bit better in their favor. They'll certainly be thankful for that money if they can get that bomb down for this round. Amanek, though, playing close range. The smoke is down. Renegade's not looking to boost over the top. They just put a flash out, but Amanek's going to go on clean-up duty, managing to get two. Now it's all up to the AWP to try and defend this while the rotation comes through. Alex is there and easily done. LDAC pick up another round. And now we're at 13-6.
Yeah, slowly making their way back into this one. Of course, this is the first proper fall by we're going to see from Renegades with the AWP onto Gratisfaction, who has had pretty high impact in this game so far. The only man above him at the moment is the IGL of Azza. 22 kills in the server for him. But it's going to be interesting to see if Twanu has more impact now that he is on the CT side. Like, that's always going to be a thing on this map, a CT side AWP, a big part of Overpass. At least for now, T's taking things nice and slow. Obviously, probably held back by early incendiaries. Grenades thrown out. JKS spotting a pixel, but decides not to take the early shot. And Twanu is waiting over towards long, which may be about to be contested by the T side. Yet to take any control in that direction, but just going to be waiting patiently. And actually, the timing is just going to be that Twanu has fallen off the angle.
Does he try to peek back into it, though? He would have heard the utility being used over the top of it. He's got Amanek there to back him up, while JKS is just going to hold this position for now. He wants to see and find out really what LDLC are trying to do. Are they getting aggressive at all? Are they going to push forward and try and find him? Oh, no. Huge miss coming out there, but luckily Amanek in the perfect position to back him up. 2 big kills, putting a massive advantage now for LDLC. Can Amanek deliver anything else? He strikes the third, looking for the fourth. Gratisfaction's there, and he can't make the shots connect. He's on the hunt, but Amanek's worked himself all the way around. This man is on for a round and a half. If he sees the barrel of that gun, the shadow's already in front of him. First bit of damage done, and he's going to go in, but can't make the ace happen. JKS He's not giving up. He's going to try and push his way into the site, but the rotation's already there. Logan comes in from behind. Easy, swift kill for him, and at least this time around, right, we're not seeing it go down to the 1v1s. We're just seeing LDLC have a very dominant CT half.
Yeah, no, they really are running away with it. And again, a lot of it is coming down to like individual plays. So Alex with a stronghold of the B site, Amanek in that round, making himself up to 20 kills. So it is sort of showing, considering that there's still a fair few rounds behind, that Amanek is the second highest fragger on the server. Like, there really were a lot of close rounds in the first half. So it's not been as dominant as the scoreline will suggest. And there's still a way that LDLC could drag this back. Now, obviously not seeing Renegades with this iteration playing this map,
yeah.
If I was going to be worried for them, it probably would be on the T side, especially now. What things go wrong, Banks? You take a tactical pause and you talk to no one. Or each other, I guess.
Hopefully each other.
But otherwise it's a bit pointless, right? But yeah, Kassad is...
Talk to yourself, right? You can go, I've got this. You know, like talking to yourself in the mirror and you're like, I believe that I am the greatest.
The thing is, I can 100% imagine you talking to yourself in the mirror. Like, picking yourself up, just like, you've got this, Banks. Like,
it's basically just me. It's basically just me trying to make sure that I keep myself grounded so that when Twitch chat abuse me consistently, I'm just like, I'm still okay. People do love me. I'm not hated by everyone.
That I never get abuse. I'm just fantastic. Oh.
Nicely done. Oh, and he gets the second. The more pushing towards him. Amanek's there backing him up, and they're just getting the damage done. LDLC, okay, it's only against pistols, but you are seeing that kind of CT team play come into full effect here now, and that's what's looking good. That's the difference maker between how close some of these rounds went before and how now they're feeling like, okay, look, maybe our backs are up against the wall, but let's just play our game, because these are definitely some clear setups. The one with Amanek, and I forget how you say matey boy's name. It's so crazy. Is it Toinu?
Twanu.
Twinu. Did you learn how to say that properly?
No, I just casted it for a while.
Ah,
Twanu.
There you go. There you go.
And also, like, when you solo cast, if you ever say a name wrong,
Twitch chat there just
yeah, it's like, no, it's exactly like this. No, you said it wrong again. No, that's wrong again.
No.
No.
Oh, I certainly need that. But yeah, those two had a great setup, right, where it was just a straight bait and switch if someone missed the shot. And
the thing is, I reckon if his teammates didn't kill the people that he was aiming at, he would have got the kill like a split second later.
Yeah,
he was like so close to an ace, like. But either way, Renegades in with a purchase once more. Gratisfaction on the AWP. Yet to see too much from them on this T side, and it's definitely not out of the question that this one turns back around, especially with Twanu hitting absolutely everything at the moment. I asked if he would step up over on the CT side. The answer is a definitive yes. And now Renegades need to try and find something back into this round. Now, they had Gratisfaction finding them trades all the time on the CT side. Thus far, we have not seen that at all. And the fact is, with the setup that we currently see on the CT side, you'd actually want to see faster rounds coming out from Renegades. They got a double AWP setup. It's definitely like risky when it comes to a map like Overpass, but Twanu's just being allowed to just walk around the map almost like he's being given a tour. And then the rest of the team are just set up and just completely smashing them at the moment. Even in the rounds where it's a buy coming in for Renegades, they're barely doing any damage.
Yeah, this is where it starts to look scary, right? Because LDLC are clawing this back. Renegades seemingly don't have an answer even after the pauses. And now we're in a position where another pause is called, right? It's like, okay, what else do we do? What else can we try? It's not so much that, like, Renegades are playing bad. They just can't even get themselves into the sites a lot of the time because the defense is so strong. And there you go. Look, this is a whole different scenario to look at, Tom. No 1vx's. It's just a lot of players being alive, like multiple rounds with 4 players plus alive.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty much one of the worst case scenarios if you're Renegades, because it means even if you do finally win a round, it's not like it's broken and the thing that everything's going to slip away. And those are those odds now in favor of LDLC, even though they're 4 rounds behind? Was that correct? I wouldn't be overly surprised.
Maybe, yeah, maybe that's just the thing. That's like this much of a comeback. Is it going to slow down? Also, remember, look at Renegade's money, just what they're having to play with now. Even this force-up's a bit like, it's a crazy buy. They've gone a bit more utility heavy.
Maybe they're going to try and pick up the pace a little bit. There's plenty of players already waiting around this B site. The CT's even looking like they may rotate a fourth in over time. Now they've got Logan with the AWP. Definitely not the best weapon for close quarters combat, as Granish Faction did show in the previous half. It can work, but a lot of the time it won't. Now we see the quick push in. That missed shot early might leave them in a little bit of trouble, but the fact is the CT defense again has been excellent. It's left on to Liaz, and Alex will close them down. He's been very good at defending this B site, it has to be said.
Oh yes, flying that flag for us. You know what, at this point we might even have a full 5 players from the UK that could actually compete at a somewhat okay level.
As long as you're coaching them, just to like give them a slap every once in a while.
Mate, I'll do that happily.
Even when they're not when they're not playing.
God damn it, guys.
I was asleep. Papa Banks in the house. Oh, T-side. Again, it's another buy on the board, but the fact is they've managed absolutely nothing. Bear in mind, this was a 13-2 half. They have lost 8 rounds in a row. Absolutely nothing. And the thing is, most of the rounds weren't close either. It's just been dominance from LDLC. It's an absolute slugfest on the CT side as they're obliterating their opponents and dragging this back, kicking and screaming. Well, if LDLC can pull this out of the bag, you almost expect them to take the second map, because I don't know how you recover from being this far up and losing.
Yeah, it's that rough spot for Renegades, right? No coach in play, like we mentioned earlier. You also still that younger roster where we've had some good results from them, but it's not like... New
IGL as well.
Yeah, with the whole IDL change. And you've got 2 players who are not used to playing on this level as well. So this is why I give a lot of credit to just what Renegades can do with them, because it's a big step up from where they were to come to be against some of the best teams in the world.
Yep. Well, they're now playing against the clock as well. 35 seconds left. They really haven't found anything yet. Now, they have at least meant that LDLC don't have that much utility left. It's only Logan with anything, and I'm pretty sure he's posted up with an AWP over towards Monster, so his utility is not going to come into play. But Amanek, he just goes aggressive, and he takes away the second prong of their attack. It's now just all coming in through that mid position. JKS manages one, but Amanek has just been a monster. Absolutely destroys them in that round. 4 kills for him, retrieves the AWP, and makes it look incredibly easy.
It's the second round of Amanek as well, delivering not just against ecoed opponents, but 4 kills, 2 rounds now against a full bought up Renegades. Amanek, he may have the face of pure, just gonna kill you with hatred,
that is
but
the
that's
face.
The dominance, right?
Yeah, it's like, it almost looks like he's doing the like, what's it, like blue steel or whatever it's called.
Yes. There you go, we've got France's next top model, Amanek. Blue steel, let's go. I can also pop heads on the server.
Oh, you ever took that picture? I actually really enjoy it. It's made me very happy.
Imagine what his like game face really is. If that's his photo face, what's he looking like right now?
Probably quite smiley, I'd hope. But you never know. There are like a lot of players, like someone like Naf, where it's like gets a quad kill, straight face. Gets shot in the face through smoke, straight face. He just doesn't react.
It's like emotionless finish people.
But it works for them.
Yes, stay cool, calm, and collected at all times. Good or bad, just let it happen. Play your game, play what you're supposed to do, play your spots. As Renegades are going to try push into the site. Devoduvex ready and waiting. Walks away with 2. The second one a little bit more awkward. He's taken some damage. The backup's coming in for him though. And now Devoduvex still delivering. Azza's the only going to get 1 kill, but 4 alive again here, Tom. We've got some players on 16k at the beginning of that round.
Can we do the same thing we did before, where we just look at how many players they've had alive over the last few rounds?
Oh my, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5. 3, 4, 2, 4, 2. That's just a solid set of rounds. That's good CT play. That is the ideal situation. You've had 1 round where it's dropped to 2. The rest of the time you've had 3 or more. It's solid. That is exactly how you want to play your CT economy side. Another pause.
Yeah, it's almost really, you just want one of these teams to work a little bit more on the T side. It's reminding me quite a bit if you ever watch Gambit, or at least the Gambit before they've made all these changes.
Yep.
On this map, they could literally... I remember when they played against Fragsters and they won the first half 13-2 and then lost 16-14. And that was just one of the most ridiculous performances, but it's because they just didn't have a T side. And it was the same on many other maps. I've seen the same scenario again with Gambit, where I believe they won the first half 14-1 of Train on the CT side and lost 16-14. This was a long, long time ago, but I think that was against like Method, like the Russian one. I'm sure they had like a CIS team at one point.
There's the Russian, they're not called Method. You mean Monolith?
Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I just remember there being an absolutely ludicrous comeback with them. But yeah, both these teams at the moment.
They've had some good runs. They've had a few good runs in there. But who's not having a good run is Renegades, without a round on the board since they've moved over to this T side. Tactical powers might not be the strong point at the moment, and they can't even rely on individual skill, as LDLC are just playing as it needs to be done. The thing is, if you're this bad on like a T side, right, or you're running out of ideas for a T side, just go for them straight default executes and play your game. If you can't win it, then you're literally, then you're troubled, then you're stuck.
Oh. Once again, looking to try and make their way into the B site. The clock has ticked low. That seems to be the case a lot of the time. Davidovec in the corner. Only manages one, but Logan's still there with the AWP, surrounded, and it will be a 2-for-2 trade. One of the less dominant rounds we've seen from LDLC. And actually, we're going to get a bomb plant for Renegades. One of the first real retakes we've had to see from this LDLC side. They've been so dominant, and well, it looks like whatever's changed has changed for Renegades, because they've managed to take this round by storm. It looked like we were finally going to see the comeback from LDLC, and as they get so close, it's now left on to Amanek. He's been brilliant so far. 26 kills to his name, and he needs to add another couple if he's going to have a chance. Doesn't know where Granis faction is, and even manages to round the corner. Has a chance to catch him, gets the pick. JKS is waiting, but he will put him down. Renegades, they get their 14th. It's taken a long time. But Banks, do you think LDLC will have enough money to buy?
I bloody hope so. They've got plenty of money in the bank after all them rounds. And I'd just like to point out, I said one of the things for Renegades to do, right? Just go for a normal execute, nothing fancy, just push in. Funny enough, it worked. Sometimes you just got to push it, hit your shots, but also LDLC played that a bit weird, because before they've been playing a little bit more aggressive, right, a little bit more forward, and then you had, I can't say the spot in UK sayings, because
Fantastic.
Yep. On the B site, where he was sat with the AWP anyway, there wasn't much he could do. He got pushed from both angles, Monster and Sandbags at the time, so there was literally nowhere he could go. The rest of LDLC were too far away. Renegades pushed quite far back into the site, which meant that the rotation didn't work with Alex coming in either. So a good solid round. They just need to repeat that 2 more times here.
Well, of course, jokes aside, there is plenty of money for LDLC to buy back into this one. The double AWP coming in once again. No surprises there. We are going to have the T's gathered up outside of the B site. Just to note, there was in 2016 a CIS Method team.
Oh, okay. There you go. I'll let you have that.
I decided to look it up because I was pretty sure, but you made me doubt myself.
I was thinking recent.
No, it's Facecrack, JMQA, Space, Ubik, and Dursky. Actually, Waterfall was played for them for a little bit. Either way, push coming into this B site. Rinse and repeat. If it works once, surely it will work again. And well, actually, so far so good. Azza trying to lead by examples, found a double, and they will keep the man advantage going as the retake looks to come in. It's going to be Amanek and Twanu, 2 players who've been very good on this CT side, but they haven't had to do many retakes. That's the thing. The retake scenarios haven't been there for LDLC just because they haven't needed them. They've been so dominant in the early round scenarios, and it looks like they've come so close. But a 15th looking likely. The clock ticking away. Jacob ready and waiting for Twanu. And although they've had a lot of cash, it has dwindled a little bit. They're still going to go running into the site. And Amanek, left all alone, has no real choice but to try and save. He almost gets Jacob through the wall, but almost doesn't really win you anything.
He was just looking to see if he can catch anyone off guard there, but JKS will finish him. Means no weapons save for LDLC as Renegades secure match point here. For LDLC's pick, might I add.
Yeah, well, you can sort of see it. If you just take their CT side, you're like, yeah, looks good, but they just didn't manage anything on the T side. Now, I will say a lot of that, it could have easily been way more rounds.
7+ rounds that could have gone either way. It was straight 1v1s. It was welcome to the clutch, and that clutch was all Renegades at the time. A lot of that from both Jacob and Gratisfaction coming up top. And Az has just been solid throughout round after round, right? He's just playing well. He's going to be one of the better fragging in-game leaders currently, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because he's always been a beast, right? Az is consistent, but... And now in-game leading, and you've not got your coach there?
Yeah, the thing is, though, it's like, I don't question his fragging ability. I do somewhat question how good the in-game leading is. Because I
think everyone would. That's only fair, right?
So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he's a fragging in-game leader, but I'm like, I put the question mark against the in-game leader bit because you don't know how the calls are going, especially when the T side has not looked good for them at all. It's been very dominant from LDLC a lot of the time, and it's only because of the fantastic CT side they had that they haven't run into too many problems yet. It could still go to OT, but that is a great opener. Amanek, he's been one of the stars of the show for LDLC, and he may play no further part in this map. Oh. T-side. Once again, they're looking to end this on B. The fact is, though, Dever Duvek has thrown down a late smoke, and this may just buy them enough time that this could be problematic. He's even got flashbangs to try and do just that little bit more, leave them blind, and it's worked, but he actually gets blinded himself. Alex still on the site, and Logan having a miss in there. Now Alex has to try and rotate in. He manages one, going for the bomb plant. There's not much time, and that smoke just about goes down to give enough for the bomb to be planted. Now Alex so incredibly low on HP. We're looking more towards Twanu, who has come in on the flank. In fact, both players coming in on the flank. Now that may not be expected by the T side. They've got the surprise factor in at the moment, but they don't have the clock on their side. They need to get moving, and it's not going to happen. An incredible comeback in the end. I think it was 10 rounds in a row for LDLC. However, they couldn't finish it off.
LDLC losing out on Overpass. I questioned it when they first picked into it, just because of the kind of inconsistent results they've had across it, right? You've had ones where they've literally dominated constantly, and then actually other games where, okay, yes, you can take an Astralis to overtime online, fantastic work, but when it gets to LAN, it's a whole different ball game. And one thing I'll say for Renegades, it didn't matter how many rounds LDLC got, Renegades kept on trucking, they kept on trying, and they finally managed to make it work. Cash is going to be real interesting, but before we get into that, we'll enjoy some of these highlighted frags. And I just think the main thing here, Tom, was the persistence from LDLC was admirable, but it was not clean from either side on their T side. It just, all it would have taken was a couple of rounds either way to completely flip this game.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, although towards the end, like, Renegades close it out, I feel like there's a couple of things there. One, when teams get close to making a comeback, especially if you win that many rounds in a row, it's very easy for pressure to get to you, especially a team that, in terms of, like, LAN performance, at least together, there really isn't very much at all. So that's always going to be a factor. The other thing as well is, when you look at the sort of T side from LDLC, it was so close. And that's just got to be in the back of your mind that, oh, if we just won 2 of those rounds, and that's the thing. We mentioned it plenty of times, but I think there was, in the end, 7 rounds for Renegades out of the 13 where they only had 1 player left alive and won it. Now, I know obviously you can't say, well, if all 7 switched, but even if a couple of them went the other way, who knows how this match turns out?
Well, Renegades do get our first map here. I think one of the things that LDLC should at least be proud of is that the fact they managed to come back from such a deficit, right?
Yeah.
It was not an easy game. It's also against the Renegades that you didn't have much information to go off with. This whole lineup, they've never played Overpass, right? With this core, this new 5 for Renegades. Well, LDLC, they've been a staple. They've had a bit more time as that lineup. I would say that LDLC will be kicking themselves for allowing that one of their picks to go away.
Yeah.
But before we go any further, before we go to cash, which isn't going to be pretty because either side is not exactly cash teams.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a quick break. We'll be back with the second map coming up, and we'll be finding out if Renegades can close this out 2-0 or if LDLC can bounce back on their opponent's map pick.